Afternoon, lovely viewer. Well, it's a windy and wet afternoon at my mum's, and I wanted to show you her roses today. The weather has been horrific the last few weeks. Even now, you look, it's been raining today, but I wanted to show you these roses, including the Blackspot, to see the roses, warts and all, in their appearance. But again, it's these roses, they're doing much better than mine. And it's been just as wet here. I mean, you can see all the rainwater. We have had a deluge. It rained heavy overnight. And when you see some of these roses, I'm going to try and get all this Blackspot in as well, so you've got a good idea with regards to the roses themselves. Blackspot, it can be a funny old thing. And I do apologise about the wind, but I'm going to try and get the Blackspot in, because my mum's garden, it does need some work. It does need some work on it, and these things need to be plucked off. But if I get to show you the roses before I actually do it, it might give you a good idea. Look at this. It's the 2nd of August today, and look at the size of that. Look at that. And I can't understand how these roses are doing so well, considering it's been so wet over the last few weeks, and even the last couple of days. Now, I have this rose in my house, and I have to say it does very poorly in the wet weather. This one's gone over. It needs deadheading. Like I say, it does need some work. But I really don't understand how these roses haven't just collapsed in the rain. Now, this Chandos Beauty, it does get Blackspot. You can see here, it does get Blackspot. It's not the healthiest of roses. I wouldn't say it's an unhealthy rose, but it's maybe midway. I think I've said before, it's kind of midway on the health front. But here we've got Champagne Moment, and I'm having a look round, and there's not a single bit of Blackspot on it. A Cordes rose, and not a single bit of Blackspot on it. But it hasn't grown too well. And here we've got Silas Marner, that's finally in sort of flower. But look at that. Look at that. Let's get the size of the flower in as well, to give you an idea. But these roses have just done they've done so well compared to my garden. They really have. These ones have started to go over, or one or two of them have. But my garden, it's just been destroyed by the wind and the rain. I mean, even now you can probably hear the wind. The weather this year has just been bad. But I'm looking around, and there's not a single bit of Blackspot on Silas Marner either, and nor is there a single bit of Blackspot on the floss. Focus. That one's just getting ready to open, but we've got one here that is open. This is a lovely flower. Out of these two roses, Silas Marner and Mill on the Floss, this one has got the better fragrance for my nose. Both fragrant, but I prefer the fragrance of this rose. And there's a size comparison. And both of these, the roses you've seen this year, even Rosemary Harkness at the end, they've just always been in flower. And look, there's more buds. There's more buds waiting to come through on this. And this here, I'm sure I said in a previous video, is up to my neck in terms of height. And all of these roses, as you probably know, it's still less than a year old. Emily's just got the one flower on it for the time being, but she is growing fantastically well. She really is. Look at all the new growth that's coming through. Boscobel, see, I don't get it. I really don't get how, I mean, you can see the water here, how these roses haven't been destroyed from the rain. I really don't know, because there was heavy rain last night, only last night. And for the last 2 or 3 weeks, very wet weather in this sort of area of Kent. But Mum's roses, they're defying gravity. Now this rose, there's no black spot on any of those. There is some black spot on boscobel, but to give you an idea, my boscobels at my house, I had to strip back pretty much bare because the black spot was so bad. It does need, I've said already, it does need a lot of work here, but I wanted to film the garden in this state to give you a better idea. You can see with your own eyes a lot of black spot coming here, spicy Parfuma and fruity Parfuma. These 2 roses will probably have to get stripped back there, because fruity Parfuma, particularly so, is prone to black spot, at least in my garden this year. My garden this year, fruity Parfuma has had a fair amount of black spot. But black spot, it can be a funny thing, you know. If you had Olivia Rose Austin planted there, close to this, sooner or later it will spread. If left unchecked, it will spread down. And when I went to David Austin's a couple of times last year, you have to believe me when I tell you that there was no shortage of black spot in that garden. In their rose gardens, there was an awful lot of black spot. Look at the size of that. August the 2nd. Fragrant cloud. Huge. But a bit of black spot there. And let's have a look here. Princess Alexandra of Kent. Lovely flower. The size is getting reduced now compared to how it was earlier on in the year. But this one's got a bit of black spot. And so have the ones that I have got in my house. But black spot, you know, I've got roses in my garden that I'll have one variety in the front garden that will be black spot free, and another variety, the same variety, in the opposite garden, and it will be riddled with black spot. But overall, I mean, my phone screen now is just a wash of water. It really is. But these roses are still doing well. And which one shall I leave you with? I'm going to leave you, it has to be today, it has to be Chandos Beauty. I'm going to leave you with this one here, because it's defying gravity, and it's also gorgeous. Lovely rose. Right, lovely viewer, I hope you have a lovely day.